Hello, I'm Rebecca. I've just completed my business management degree at Lancaster University, and I also completed the Bright Network Internship Experience UK in December 2020, and I'm now an incoming graduate management trainee for enterprise. So I first wanted to research more about enterprise because after doing the internship with Bright Network and seeing how lovely Sophie and Graham were, who were the employee representatives for enterprise, it really stood out to me just what the employees at enterprise are like. And for me, the employee attitude of a company is such a big part of the culture. So I thought if Sophie and Graham are lovely people, then surely everyone else in enterprise is. And then from that, I did a bit more research into enterprise, found out they were a key business during the pandemic. And, there's no better business to work for than one that's vital for the industry, and they supported NHS workers and key workers as well. And then as well, from further research, I found the unbelievable work they do for supporting, LGBTQ plus rights, the amazing awards they've got for women in business and things like that. So it seems like a really great environment where women especially are supported. And obviously that's huge for me being a woman. So I think I'd be able to really progress my career with that company. So I participated in the Business Operations and Marketing Internship Experience UK with Bright Network over Christmas in 2020. And the main reason I applied for this internship experience was because I'd been feeling really unproductive throughout lockdown. Being furloughed from my part-time job, I really wanted something that would set me apart from other candidates when applying for graduate schemes. And I noticed that the internship experience had loads of guest speakers and seminars and really applied theories, frameworks and other knowledge to real life experiences, as well as the project alongside that you really get to get stuck in. So in terms of the different skills and tricks that I learned from the experience, one of the main things I found was just how difficult at first I found to apply things to real life. So during the project, to actually research a real life company and not just think of ideas in my mind that might work, but actually what is going on in that industry and what is going on with that company and how can we set them apart in a marketing scheme. And then also hearing from current graduate scheme members, I just learned how much you can get involved with in an actual business that you don't even realise that's available to you. And then I really enjoyed the consultative selling seminar from Google, and the Google employees set out a Google sales framework, and I really learned just how much of a technique consultative selling is, and that it's actually a two-way transaction, because not only do you need to know what the customer wants from you, but the customer needs to believe that you've got the knowledge to actually guide them through what they need. And then as well, for the final project that we had to complete for enterprise, competitor analysis was such a big part of that project. And obviously doing a business degree, I'd studied competitor analysis before, but actually applying it again to a real life business, you get into the nitty gritty and actually realise how much work it requires from you, but also just how interesting it can be. So being a business management student at university, I kind of have to have a very good commercial awareness in itself. And the main way that I do this is just by having the news app on my phone. So I set the settings that I'd like into what I'm interested in news-wise, and it just gives you notifications. So constantly throughout the day, I'll get different notifications. And it's actually really astounding to see how much information you take in just from reading a notification that you then apply to real life and different businesses and different industries. So that's the first way that I built my commercial awareness. But then as well, LinkedIn as a platform was such an amazing way for me to gain more awareness about a business that just you couldn't find online. Employees are obviously the main part of a business, so they're going to know more than you can find online. So connecting and networking with employees, and I even had a few calls with a few employees during my application process, and they just give you information that you're not going to find anywhere else, and that type of commercial awareness just sets yourself apart completely. But then when wanting to know more about the industry, when I was applying for enterprise specifically, I just did a Google online, and because obviously the COVID pandemic has just changed industries completely. It's really interesting to keep researching how companies have adapted and what companies are surviving and which ones aren't, and what infrastructure did they have in place in the first place that helped them survive throughout COVID. The top 3 tips I'd give to Bright Network members looking to follow my footsteps is just to don't be afraid to completely get stuck in and connect with as many people as you can. So everyone just always has different experiences and backgrounds, and it's actually astounding how much you can learn from people's different experiences. There's absolutely nothing wrong with just applying for things, as many things as you can, internship wise or even, just experience wise, and getting as much as you can. There's no downside to doing it all. And then during the internship, just really try and take in all the information that's being given to you. My internship was all pre-recorded, but I'm not sure if that would be the same for everyone, but that just meant that I just had to put in that little bit more extra effort and focus and actually try and understand what these people are saying and what knowledge they're trying to actually pass on to you, and maybe making notes, obviously, because it's really hard to remember things straight away, but just having a document with everything that you've learned you can just come back to. Even now I come back to it sometimes. You just don't realize how beneficial it's going to be throughout your career anyway. And then finally, just time management. So the project and a lot of other internships are the same. It's very independent work, but you have to manage your time effectively in order to get good work done. I'm sure many people know that anyway, doing degrees or schoolwork, but time management is definitely a really important part.